Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm from Philadelphia. I was a social justice warrior until 2022 when I read Cynical Theories, and it ruined my life. So thank you for that. It's been ruined in a great way, though. My question is for people like myself who find themselves waking up in the cult still, like with a woke job, woke friendships, relationships, very deeply in. What advice do you have for how to move forward with life?
All right, so this is like, I mean, not that I'm taking this position relative to you, but this is like kind of very gruff dad advice. Like, you're not, like, it's the simple advice is buckle up. There's no easy way, right? I went through this too. I wasn't a social justice warrior. I was just a general overeducated leftard. And the process of starting to admit that, wait, maybe this is really bad, maybe this goes too far, whoops, maybe this is actually Marxist, whoops, I'm going to vote for Trump. Ooh, boy, did we shed some people? Did we get canceled for some things? It's a rough process. It's a hurtful process. It's a painful process. Because if you ask me, having gone through it to at least a modest degree, luckily I was insulated from the woke job part, which I think would have been really hard. I was not insulated from the woke family part. I was not insulated from the woke peer group or friend group part. I was not isolated from the woke professional opportunities through the internet part, why I point at my internet portal here. And I got, turned on by a lot of people. I think that what I learned in the process is that what you're shedding is fake friends. And you're shedding, what you're dealing with aren't opportunities. They're situations in which you have to compromise yourself in order to be allowed to participate. And so I had this moment, I don't remember if it was in 20, it had to be in 20. It was very early on, but not before George Floyd. So it must have been in 20, where I realized that what I was actually going through, while it was awful and really, really, in many cases, cruel, was the feeling of taking chains off. Like, I no longer had to be accountable to these people who made me walk on eggshells all the time about how I said things. I no longer had to be accountable to whether or not, some joke that I made in good-natured fun was going to be perceived as like this horrific moment. It was just this moment where I realized that all the abuse I was putting up with, which sucks, those people, they lost all their power over me, because what they were actually doing was giving me the gift of, I don't have to take you seriously anymore. I don't have to live by your pieties anymore. And I think it's a difficult process. I mean, simultaneously, if you wake up, so I was never woke, right? I was a general leftard, but not a woke, which is a little bit different. Woke is actually what red-pilled me. Right? And so I don't have it as deep, because woke is straight up a cult, and they treat you like you're left Scientology or something if you bounce out of woke. They chase you down, they hound you. It can be really bad. And they will cut you out of your life. And you may lose as many, because you've probably cut a lot of other people out of your life being woke. You may lose 95% of your social group and your professional opportunities, and everything has to be recontoured. I think it's better to live life through that truth rather than, crawl along in a lie. Especially, it's intolerable if you know you're lying, but it's not easy, right? And like I said, I feel like I was taking off these chains, and I started to see it as a gift. And then I started to realize in the next year or so that every time I tell the truth when it seems uncomfortable to do so, my life gets better. And every time I don't, I feel ashamed of myself. And usually it doesn't even achieve getting what I want or hope to get out of it. So I encourage you to just continue to live honestly and truthfully, to speak up, and to, look for good opportunities where they are, and, build something more productive and positive. If you are you have a ton of light to shed on how it works on the inside. So there are a lot of different places that, you could get involved. If it's in a setting like this, that's fine. If it's a setting where you get a regular job and you help, a company that doesn't want to be woke, and you help HR navigate how to protect itself from woke in a private setting, that's also great. There's a lot of things that specific skill set can bring. But learning to see it as being set free from a social imposition, as painful as it is one way, and then being involved coming to things like this and talking to people? Because you start making new friends. And all of a sudden you don't have this weird, am I the one who's wrong? I'm the only one, I know. No, you'll find out there are thousands and thousands and thousands, or actually millions and millions of people who either are like you or are like, I don't know about all this, but I'm too afraid to say it. And you get to become a light in the world rather than a piece of the shadow. So it's really, I think, a fantastic but difficult transformation. It's almost like the Christian idea of repentance, and you're like taking pieces of your soul back from what you sacrificed in order to fit in. I tell young people a lot that every lie you tell to fit in is selling a piece of your soul. And that's what woke demands you to do. It demands you to say false things to fit in, and it demands you to say true things as a condition of being able to fit in. Like, nobody doubts that black people's lives matter, but we all had to say Black Lives Matter or else you're a bad person. They forced you to say something obvious. That's tyranny. And nobody has to participate in it. They're humiliating you to make you do stuff like that. And so start to try to see how it's literally a setting free from an abusive condition. It's a lot like not just leaving a cult, but like leaving an abusive relationship, and you're still getting probably the harassing phone calls from your ex, so to speak. Those stop eventually, they get bored eventually, and you can go on and shine. And there's lots of people here to make friends with who I know that there are a lot of people who would like to hear your story, so it's something worth organizing and telling too.